Welcome to Hawthorne Country Store. We get asked all the time about raising chicks, like these guys here. So we wanted to just run down the basics that we suggest for us here in Southern California. Now there's lots of ways to raise your chicks. You can do them in a plastic bin, in a metal tank. You can do it in varying cardboard boxes. We do them here in a brooder, but there's also things that you can do at home that are simple and easy. The main thing that's important about raising your chicks are the location that you're going to raise them, keeping their temperature exactly where they want it to be, a really good food to get them started healthy, and water. That's a real important one. The bedding and what they're raised on is another thing that you want to consider. There's lots of choices there as well. Talking about how we're going to raise our babies. When you bring them home from your feed store or you order them online, they might be just a couple of days old. So we want to make sure that they get on fresh, clean water right away. That's the number one most important thing. You might notice our waterers, the water is yellow. We recommend that you do use a product that has electrolytes, vitamins, and probiotics. It's a great preventative for stress-related issues. Once they're on water, then we're going to have them on a starter. We recommend Start and Grow from Purina, but we have some wonderful organic choices, Scratch and Peck, Modesto Milling, and plenty others as well. We then want to make sure that their temperature is exactly right. Baby chicks actually want to be between 95 and 100 degrees for that first week. Then you can lower the temperature by 5 degrees per week. Now the interesting thing about babies and temperature is they will tell you if they're cold or if they're too warm. Let's assume that you use a heat lamp. There are other choices also, but a heat lamp. We can tell if they're too hot because they're going to be moving away from the heat and they'll stretch out panting. Now if they're too cold, they're going to snuggle under the warmest part of that lamp and they might be peeping in too loud. So we know they're not quite warm enough. If we can find the exact right height, they'll make a circle where the perfect temperature is. You'll see a spot in the middle that's empty, and then outside of that is where they're running around and feeding. Something to consider about temperature is what you hold the babies in. You want to make sure that that environment doesn't have any drafts, because that can change your temperature too quickly. Now, we also have a lot of people that consider raising their babies in their garage or in an outside shed. And that seems like a logical thing because they can get a little stinky sometimes and they can be a little noisy as well. However, we suggest that for the first few weeks at least, for sure you have them inside so you can control their environment better. Once they don't have any fuzzies left on them, so they're all real feathers, then you can start talking about moving them to an outside environment. So it is a commitment to get started. Make sure that you understand that. Feeders and waterers. Feeders and waterers come in a lot of different choices. They come in metal and in plastic. We do recommend that you use a waterer especially that's made for chicks. The reason for this is chicks can sometimes jump into their water and they can hurt themselves, get drowned, or get too cold. The chick feeders, if you choose one that's made for chicks, they're less likely to get in and poop in it and make a mess and scratch the food out. Choices on bedding. I always tell our customers the choice of bedding is what you want to clean up. So a lot of folks suggest that you start on paper towels, something that they can't slip on, but nothing that's slick. Or shavings, pine shavings, those can be good as well. There's also some other beddings that you can use that can go straight back into your garden. We love these ideas. Rice hulls, hemp bedding, coconut husks, and a product called Coop Clean, which is a shredded hay product. Once you compost them or put them directly back into your garden, they don't pull any nitrogen out, and we like that idea. Let's talk about a couple of things that could happen that you might want to be aware of. There are some things that can be stressful to baby chicks. If we handle them too much, they can get stressed out. If our temperature fluctuates, or if a pet or someone scares them. One of the signs of stress for baby chicks is something we call mud butt. Some people call it pasty butt. It's basically poop that's stuck at the back of their vent. Don't worry if this happens, but be aware of it. You can clean it off nicely with warm water and then put a little bit of salve, Desitin ointment, bag balm, something like that to keep the poop from sticking again. It also might be a reminder to you that maybe somebody's playing with them too often or something's scaring them. Another thing that can help with that is a little bit of chick grit. We do recommend that you provide that after the first couple of days. It's not a have to, but it's a recommendation. Clean water for all of our livestock is really important. Starting babies on fresh, clean water that first 24 hours is essential. You might notice on our waterers is the water is yellow. We recommend that you do use a product that has electrolytes, vitamins, and probiotics. It's a great preventative for stress-related issues. So I've got a little chick here with us right now. This is a New Hampshire Red, which is a really nice home flock breed. One of the interesting things about the chickens that you might see available to you is they come pullet run or straight run. Pullet run just means baby girls. They've been pre-sexed at the hatchery, like this girl here. I'm holding her with two hands, one hand underneath and one hand on top. That way she can't jump out of my hands and I'm not squeezing, I'm just making sure that she can't flap and accidentally hurt herself. When we talk about having small children hold or handle chicks, this is still the same position. You might want to hold it for them and suggest a 2-finger pet. We're making this video for you guys today during our COVID shutdown. We're open because we're essential. We feed the animals that feed people, and we're using our masks here in the store. But we've been conscious about biohazard for a long while now. Having livestock on hand and having to prevent diseases that can be contracted and or passed between livestock is right up there with what we're doing now in our human people. We want to make sure that you remember that chickens can either carry or pass some diseases to each other and to people. Hand washing is essential. Hand washing is essential for our kids, it's essential for us. Every time I pick up a chick, I now will go wash my hands for that essential 20 seconds minimum. We teach this, we believe in it, we hope that you will as well. We love chickens. We love the concept of homesteading even in small scale. It really is fun. They have personalities and they make breakfast. You can provide some of your family's needs for food on a very small scale with chickens in a garden, and then you could decide maybe that this is your gateway into homesteading on a bigger scale. We're happy to help if you decide that.